Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we're going to take a look at how to take the data tables library and add a row click event to it. Now, if you have been part of the JavaScript and FileMaker training courses, you have spent a lot of time with this, or you will in the future. And this video is meant to complement that. But even if you haven't, you should sign up for the training course, by the way. If you haven't, you can still learn about how this works generally so that you can apply it to your future use of data tables. So let's get started. Let's just go back and take a look and see where we are at. As I've mentioned in the training sessions, we were working with this. You can see on the left here the beautifully rendered data tables that in this case is showing 206 entries. And on the right is our JavaScript development environment that is the place where we wrote the code. Now, as a brief aside, I want to show you something that the students in the training class have done or will do with this integration. After we built the initial data tables with some fake data, we were able to hook this up to a FileMaker file with real data, and not just one set of data, but two. So this one web viewer on this one layout with no hidden panels or tab controls or slide controls, we can load customers' data and we can load other data into it. That's pretty cool that we learned how to use one widget, one code base to load two different data sets. And again, be part of the training course and you can see how that's done. Let's get back to the business at hand. What we want to do is add a row click event. So let's go into our code, and at the very bottom, underneath the initial function here is our initial function that is called from FileMaker. We are going to write another function that does the following. First thing it needs to do is go get the table out of the DOM or the web browser. The second thing it needs to do is it needs to assign an event to each of the rows. And the third thing it will do is it will run a function that gets the data from that particular row that they clicked on. So let's get to that. First step is to grab the table. And we do that using some jQuery, using the $ function, and then a parentheses. This little method right here is going to tell the JavaScript that after it's been rendered, the table, we need to find the event with the ID of dtable. Over here in our index.html, we have a table with an ID of dtable. So we're asking JavaScript to go find that. And then we're going to apply an on method to it. This is built into JavaScript that will allow us to add an event to a part of that table. This JavaScript on method needs three things. First thing it needs is what event do you want to work with. There's a lot of events. We're just going to pick the click event to start, but you can read more about other events using the documentation. We're going to ask it to put this click event not on the whole table, but on a part of the table. We're going to ask it to go find the element, the tr element inside of the tbody. So you can see here I typed in tbody tr. This is sort of a path to get to the row, table row of this table. Let's look back here quickly at the rendered data table. If I inspect element and I go to the elements, you can see that I am on, let's start at the top. I've got a table with an ID of dtable. It's got a t head in it, and it's got a t body in it. And inside of the body is a row. Actually, there's many rows. And they have a nice class of odd and even, which gives it that striped look. So we're going to ask it to walk this path and put a click event on there. And then on our third parameter is to write a function, or give it a function that will do something. In this case, we'll just do console.log hi, or row clicked. All right, let's take a look and see that working. So let's reload the web viewer with one of the data sets, and I'll open up the console And when I click on any row over here in the console, I get a row click event. Very cool. So we could do anything with this, of course, but it seems most practical to get the data out of that row and pass it back to FileMaker. Let's do that. Luckily, Data Tables provides us a way to do that. Because we have defined a variable at the top with the word table, and then inside of the FileMaker called function, we have assigned to that variable the data table library method, we can now access anything inside of that table. So let's grab the row's data. And the way we do that is we access the variable and we use a row method and a data method. Both of these together will get the data from a particular row. So if we console log this, let's put this in a variable, const row equals. We do console.log row, reload the web viewer. If I click on the first row, I get the data from that row. You can see that the company name matches. And here I'm getting the exact object that was brought in from FileMaker. And again, that's part of the training and part of what we had done there. So this is all the information about that particular row. We only really need this field data property out of this object. So I'm just going to just target that with .field data. So let's reload it. Click console, and now we have the right data of that row. Uh-oh, there's going to be a problem. I've clicked on the first row and I'm getting its correct data, but what if I click on a different row? What will happen? Let's take a look. So I'm going to click on this maybe 10th row down, and let's see what the console log provides. All right, so here is the row, and it looks like, we're getting the same data as the very first row. That's because JavaScript doesn't know which row we clicked on really. It's going to just grab the first row of the table that we clicked on. So luckily there's a way to deal with this, and let's go back to our code. Over here in our JavaScript, on line 22 abouts where I've grabbing the row's data, I need to specify inside of this row parentheses this. In JavaScript, the keyword this has very deep meanings. All we need to worry about right now is that it's the row that I clicked on, this row that I clicked on. So let's see if that works. Reload it. Click the first row, I get the first row's data. Click the 10th row, now I'm getting that row's data. So the keyword this is very important. It just tells JavaScript that when I click on it, pass that row's data back to this variable. Great. So now we've added the click, and we can send that back to FileMaker. The way we do that is we run a function called FileMaker.performScript, and we give it a script name, and we pass back the data. Now again, in my training session, I have taught people that we can't just pass back that nice object because FileMaker won't know what to do with it. So instead, we wrap that object in a json.stringify function. There we go. So when we run this, we're going to get an error because we haven't written that script. So in FileMaker, let's go write that script. Get row click. And we'll just say show custom dialog, get script parameter. All right, let's run this. Boom, and there we go. Now we are passing the data back to FileMaker from JavaScript. And you as a FileMaker developer can now take this and do with it what you want. Open up a card window, go to related records, whatever you want to do with this. You have the ID of the record, you have all the information that you need about that particular record. So there you go. This is adding a row click onto the data tables. I encourage you to try this out, review this, make sure that you understand each part of it so that you know what it's supposed to do. And one more thing, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm actually going to do one more thing on this before I end this. I'm going to take out this function and I'm going to put it in a variable const row click equals function, and then I'm going to put this row click in the line here. So now we have a little bit of nice separation, and we can make this function as long as we want, and we can still call it right here. So that is working with row clicks in data tables. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you'd like to know more about data tables, but I do plan on doing a quick one-day course on data tables in depth. So if that interests you, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.